Pastor Matthew Stuckey here, and in this video I want to explain to you 1 John chapter 3, verse 9. The Bible says in 1 John 3, verse 9, "Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God." So the Bible uses the phrase being born of God, which is someone who has been born again, who's a child of God, who has believed on Christ. And the Bible says if you believed on Christ, if you've been born into God's family and received everlasting life, it says that person doth not commit sin. And it says that he cannot sin because he is a child of God, because he's born of God. Now, wrong teaching that people will have when they look at this verse is, see, if you're truly saved, you'll become a good person and make some changes in your life and become more godly. But the Bible does not say that you're going to make some changes. What it says is doth not commit sin. It does not say doth not commit much sin. It says you don't commit any sin is what the Bible is saying. The Bible says he cannot sin. It doesn't say he cannot live ungodly. It says he cannot sin. The Bible says that you are going to be sinless. You're going to be perfect. Well, of course, this leads to confusion because you think of characters like Paul the Apostle that speak about after being saved how he would be worldly sometimes and carnal, and the things he did not want to do, he did, and vice versa. And so the question is, why would the Bible say that if you're a child of God, you're going to be sinless? Because none of us are sinless. The Bible says that the thought of foolishness is sin, and all of us, we think foolish thoughts or, are prideful sometimes or bitter. None of us are perfect, even if we have made a lot of changes. Well, what the Bible's speaking about is not the fact that physically you're perfect. The Bible's speaking about spiritually you're perfect. See, the Bible speaks about when you get saved, you get the new man. And the Bible speaks about this battle between the flesh and the spirit. And unfortunately, God has to command us to walk in the Spirit, because if we don't walk in the Spirit, we're going to fulfill the lusts and the desires of the flesh. And unfortunately, in our free will, sometimes we choose to walk in the flesh and sometimes we choose to walk in the Spirit. Nobody always walks in the Spirit perfectly. All of us are sinners. Even Paul the Apostle speaks about that. But what the Bible does show us, which is actually a great proof of eternal security, is that when you get saved, it is impossible for you to commit sin. Why is that? When you get saved, you get imputed with the righteousness of Christ upon yourself. And even though you are still a sinner in your flesh, and in this life you will be judged for it, in God's eyes you're 100% perfect because of the fact spiritually you're perfect. And so when you die, you don't have to worry about, did I do enough good to go to heaven? Because God looks at you as sinless, so there's nothing to punish you for, because you are imputed with the righteousness of Christ, even though you will remain a sinner until the day you die. So 1 John 3:9 is actually a great proof of eternal security, because it's impossible to sin, and therefore you cannot lose your salvation after getting saved. Anyways, thank you and God bless.